Okay, so here we are back with this OBSBOT Tail Air. As you can see, it's on and it's moving. It's trying to find me right now. It's tracking me. Say a couple things about this. This was sent to me. They did send it to me to do a tutorial on how to make this thing work and everything like that. So that is what I'm doing. We're going to go over from start to finish on how to set this thing up, because it was a little bit difficult to set up to start with. So we'll go over the process and show you all the features of the OBSBOT Tail Air. I'm going to set it up here for right now and show you all the features on it. I do want to say that it is a pan tilt zoom camera, so you saw the little gimbal on it moving all over the place. It is a AI and gesture controlled, so you can move your hands and do certain gestures and move it back and forth. We'll be going over how to connect this thing to your computer, your network, OBS, and how to do certain things on your StreamDeck. Along with that, we'll be showing you all the features inside of the OBSBOT, and there's a lot. So not really going to be a short video, but yeah, we'll go over all that stuff here in just a second. What we're going to get started with is the Start app that you need to start with to get this thing started. So that's a lot of starts. So that being said, let's get it started. So now that we're done with the unboxing and we've turned it on, we need to get this thing connected. To do that, you're going to go into your app store, be it iPhone or Android, and we're going to look for OBS Start, right? It's this one at the top of the screen right here. We're going to download that one, and then we're going to open it up. Once you open it up, you're going to come to this screen. I will say that the OBSBOT Tail Air is probably not going to be updated to the newest firmware when you get it, so we're going to need to do that. And to do that, we're going to need to go to cellular data. And it's not the cellular data on your phone. It's actually taking it so you can connect to the OBSBOT network, or you're connecting directly, doing a direct connect to the camera. So you're going to do that. I've already done this, so I don't really need to go into there, but you'll need to do it under cellular data first, and then you'll put an SD card in, and you're going to update the firmware, and then you will come back to this screen, and then we'll start at Wi-Fi. But I'm going to go ahead and connect Wi-Fi so where I can show you what I'm talking about with regards to updating the firmware. Okay, so as you can see from the screen, we now have the OBSBOT Tail Air connected. Now, the image on this may be a little bit distorted. I'm mirroring my screen from my iPhone to a PC using, what is this thing called? Lonely screen. And it only does it at 1080 or 720 or whatever. The camera itself is actually at 4K. I'll show you that. So it's over my camera right now, but I just wanted to go over and show you where you would go to, once you get to do the cellular one, where you would go to download the firmware. We're going to hit the three buttons on this side right here, and you're going to scroll all the way down. About device, scroll all the way down, and then right down here at the bottom is the version that you need to be on. This is the version that I updated it to, and it made it work on Wi-Fi. Had to go through cellular first. So you need to be probably at 5.071 or higher, and as you can see, the firmware is up to date. If you hit the home button right here, it takes you back to that home screen, but we're gonna go through and we're gonna show you some of the settings on this really quick. So if you go to this one right here, this box kind of looks like a robot. It's gonna take you to all of your saved positions. So obviously you've got an on-air one, you got a wide one, an auto one. Position 1, you can do user positions. Position 2, obviously it doesn't have anything. Click on face, and we're gonna go back to position 1 right here. The on-air is the one that is showing you, and it'll auto adjust here in a second. So those are your positions that you can go to, and you can actually set up, once we get to the computer part of it, where we're using this as a webcam, you can actually set hotkeys to go to the different positions. You can use a StreamDeck for that if you want, or just hotkeys on your computer. The next one, we're going one down with the sliders. Obviously, sliders are usually settings, right? This is your auto. You have your ISO, your shutter speed, and your exposure. You can set this to auto, or you can hit the A, and you go to manual. Once you go to manual, you have control over the ISO and the shutter speed, but you don't have control over the exposure anymore. You can also do your white balance, right? All this stuff. At the bottom right here, you have auto exposure. That's that one right there. Auto exposure. HDR, you can turn it on and off, right? As you can see. Turns HDR on and off. Grid lines, switching, basic camera stuff, right? Video, this is where all your video files would be at if you're recording with it. And then settings. gesture control, built-in mic. Yes, it does have a built-in mic. Yes, I've tested it with the Rode Video Mic 2, and it does work really, really well with that. You can use a built-in mic by default, or you can go into your audio settings and you can do some different things with the audio. Obviously, I'm not using this audio, but you can if you want. Face auto exposure, your ISO limit, UVC mode, NDI, and if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know I like NDI. If you go to NDI, you have to have a NDI key through the OBSBOT store. I do have a key. They sent me a key, so we'll be going over NDI here in a little bit. Again, if you've watched any of my videos, you know I like wireless stuff. I don't like wires being all over the place, so we'll go ahead and check out OBSBOT NDI with OBS NDI to make sure that that works properly. You do have RSTP mode, some media settings for you right here. Frame rate, 30 to 60, right? You have 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, and 60. Recording, you have an encoder, H.265, H.264. Your bit rate, it doesn't give you a specific bit rate, but I'm assuming that if you're going with 1080p or 4K, that your bit rate will be high enough to compensate for the fact that you're doing 1080p or 4K. High, medium, low for your bit rate, and then your resolution. It's got two resolutions, just two. 1080p or 4K. It's either or. If you go to 4K, it says recording NDI, RTSP, HDMI only supports selecting one 4K stream simultaneously. Yeah. It just means you can, it only feeds out one stream at a time. RTSP, same thing. H.265, H.264, your bit rate, and then your resolution, and then your HDMI output. It does have a mini HDMI port on the side of the OBSBOT Tail Air. So you can plug in with that. We're gonna do wirelessly. You can use this as a webcam with a USB-C, or you can do it with HDMI. I don't like wires, so we're just gonna do it wirelessly. You would just plug it into your computer with the mini HDMI to HDMI. You could go into like a cam link or a capture card if you want. Or you can just plug it USB-C into your computer. I think it has to be 3.2 or higher. And you have to use the cable that came with it because it's a high bitrate cable. There's the one mirroring from my phone. Going through all of those. Setting-wise, we've got gesture control, and I'll show you that here in just a second once we get to the actual app for the PC. But some settings that you have in here, you have gesture control. These are the gestures you can do. Again, we'll go over those in here in just a second. If you're looking for a specific section that you want to know about the OBSBOT, I do have chapters marked, so you can just skip around if you need to. Okay, so enough of the screen mirroring. Let's get to seeing this on your PC to show you that it does exactly the same thing as what mirroring off your phone does. Okay, so for the PC side of the house, we're gonna need to go to the website, and this is linked in the description below. You're gonna need to download the OBSBOT webcam right here. As you can see, it says the firmware update function is currently unavailable for Mac OS 14 or above. Our R&D team is in the process of adapting. Please be patient and wait for our next update version. Okay, so we're gonna go to Windows, right? You're gonna download it. Once it's downloaded, we're gonna install it. Click yes, accept the agreement, next, install. And we're gonna launch. Once it's installed and launched and everything like that, you're gonna see this pop up on your screen. We're gonna go ahead and click connect. And it should connect to your OBSBOT or your camera. And you'll come up to this screen right here. This does everything that the app on the phone does, only it allows you to use it as a webcam. So we're gonna go ahead and preview it. As you can see, same thing. I just don't have all the lines on there. It's got all of the options. You have the gimbal, where you can go up, down, you know, right? You can move it, you can zoom in if you want. Presets, where you can add, again, with your positions that you want to have. AI mode is, like I said, it does have AI on there. You can do animal tracking, group tracking, whatever you want to do. Tracking mode, normal tracking, upper body, close-up, tracking speed. This is where you record if you want. You can take this out and use it to record other places because it's got a battery pack to it, and it's totally free to take it wherever you want. Get a charger if you want, and just charge it when you need to use it. So we're gonna go to the next one. So up here, looking at it, is the video preview, obviously power. This is remote controller. I don't have the remote control. You can get an accessory for remote control for it if you want. It does all of the things that this does only on a remote control. The next one is global hotkeys. This is where we're gonna get into setting up StreamDeck keys. If you want to go to a different position, you just hit that key and it moves it to a different position. Virtual camera, right here, you can turn this on if you want a virtual camera, so where OBS will see it. And then OSC, don't worry about OSC right now. So we're gonna go to the next one. We were at console. We went through all of this, your gimbal and all that stuff, right? We're gonna go to image, turn on or off HDR, does have HDR, and I'll show you. A little bit different, right? HDR is always better when it's on. Focus, autofocus, or you can do non-autofocus, obviously. See? It focuses, autofocus. Your exposure, Auto exposure, your shutter speed, your ISO, you can do all that stuff if you want. Change it to whatever it makes it, whatever you think looks the best. Anti-flicker is off. If you turn on auto exposure, give it a second and makes it look a little bit better, huh? Anti-flicker, you can go to 50 or 60 hertz, obviously NTSC and PAL between the 50 and 60 hertz. White balance, normal thing, white balance, right? You can do auto, daylight, fluorescent, tungsten, cloudy, or you can custom where you can turn the temperature up and down. Right, we're gonna go back to auto. Image, obviously you standard. Outdoor, if you're outdoors, right? This just kind of lights up my room. Pastel, I don't really like this one. It just doesn't look like it does anything. And then we're gonna go back to custom because I like it like this. I think it looks better. You can go to some filters if you want. Beauty filters, right? If you want that moire effect where it's the blurring the background, it does have one of those where you can blur the background. It uses AI to do this the same way Teams or any kind of other thing does it. You can turn the blur level up and down if you want, and it does a really good job for what it does. I mean, you can blur it out really bad, but I mean, you kind of want to, for that effect, you kind of want to keep it really low. So two looks about right. Retouch, obviously it's a filter, native, classic. It's just touching up your face or whatever. And then min. You can do body shaping through AI. This is all the AI part that you want right here. And it's only showing my head and shoulders. So as you can see, it shrinks your head. Makes it bigger, shrinks your head. Same with your shoulders, which it really didn't do anything with you. And then you've got filters at the bottom right here. Nature, I actually like it like this one. I actually like it right here. I actually like that one. And then you can turn levels up and down too if you want. That one's actually pretty good. That's close to my face cam. If you look at it, it's really, really close. Anyway, fresh, clear, crystal, film, if you want film. Sheer, I don't know what sheer means, but yeah, levels, pure, black and white, and soda. That one's probably, we'll leave right there. And then we're gonna go to more. These are just settings that you can set if you want auto power off, timed power off, timed power on. If you notice that it says, you know, I want it to power off at this time on these days, so you can set it to turn it on and off if you're using it for something else. UVC mode is webcam mode with a plug-in with your USB-C. NDI, we'll do that here in just a second. RTSP mode. RTSP mode is like a lot of the streaming services use RTSP. It turns on a server and you can stream your video to that server, record it if you want, or you can push it out to something else if you want. Probably can pick it up through OBS. I don't know if there's really any OBS RTSP plugins right now. I think there's a couple. I haven't really played around with them though. So you can turn that on and off, again with the frame rate, your encoders, your outputs, and we're finally down here to gesture control. So we're gonna do this really quick. Hand up, and you'll see the OBSBOT will start blinking green, means it's tracking you. So if you move, it'll follow you. Okay? Recording is the OK symbol. I'm not going to start, well, is the symbol for recording. It just blinked blue and beeped. It's recording. We're going to stop it. Okay. And then we have a zoom. My hand's in the way. There we go. And then to zoom back out. Okay. And then you have a dynamic zoom. If you want to zoom in, zoom out, both hands. And those are your gestures. You only got 4 gestures. Built-in mic, default. If you want the built-in mic, your volume of it. Does have noise reduction if you want that. Off, weak, medium, strong. Automatic gain control if you want that. Image flip, pan tilt settings, initial state. This is the gimbal, right? Where we can mess around with it. You can zero it if you want. It just puts it back into its middle position. View gimbal reverse, power on shooting, the buzzer. So if it's doing something, it buzzes at you like when you're recording, it was buzzing. Brightness, plug and play power, plug, unplug to power on, power off. You can click that. Format your SD card. As you can see, it's still recording. Your video segmentation is in 4 gig blocks, 8 gig blocks, 16 gig blocks. 32 gig blocks or 64 gig block. Reset all connections, restore factory settings, feedback about your firmware version, logs if you need, and then a manual upgrade. Manual upgrade just means you plug the SD card in with the firmware and then you let it update by itself. So there is that. Stop the recording. I don't need it to be there. So those are the settings of the OBSBOT Tail Air. I went through that relatively slow, medium speed. There's a lot to digest with this camera. It does a lot. Okay, so now that we went through all that stuff, let's go ahead and start messing with OBS and get this thing connected with OBS. Get OBS connected to the OBSBOT camera and maybe do some hotkey setups with the StreamDeck. Okay, let me get all this stuff changed around and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so here we are back again. I do want to reiterate the fact that if you're going to be using this with OBS, you need the OBSBOT webcam. Unless you've switched it into UVC mode and you just got it plugged into your computer, you still need it up. And there's a button right here, virtual camera, that you need to click to get it to work. We can minimize this and then go into OBS. Like everything else with OBS, if you've seen any of my videos about OBS, you are going to be dealing with sources. So we're going to go ahead and create a new source, video capture device, add a new one, and we're going to go down to OBSBOT virtual camera. Click it and okay. And as you can see, we've got the camera in OBS, and it does all the things that it did before. If we do the zoom, see, does the same thing. And there we are back again. Camera, and you can size this if you want, and then however you're doing that, you know, you can have it. You can also use the virtual camera to be part of like Teams or any type of meeting software, the virtual camera to push it through there too, if you want. You do have, you know, your properties, set it to device default. You can do custom if you want. Resolution. I have it set right now to 1080, so that's what it's showing. You can go in there and set this to 4K if you want. Match output, but we're gonna go to. So there you have it. Works with OBS, no wires, right? No wires. And if you know about OBS, you know that you got hotkeys in here that you can set up. Let's go ahead and minimize this really fast. Bring back up this. If you click this little cog up in the right-hand corner of the OBSBOT webcam app right here, you get general settings, you know, your bit rate, high, low, video recording format. I would say just use MKV only because it's a better one than pushing it over to MP4 and then the container, you know, crashes and you lose your whole video. Anyway, global hotkeys. So these are your hotkeys for the OBSBOT, right? So turn on off shortcut keys, Alt plus Shift Z, device 1, device 2, device 3, device 4, gimbal reset, zoom in, zoom out, zoom max, zoom in. And I mean, there's a lot of them right here that you can set up for your hotkeys. You can put these in OBS, or you could do it on your StreamDeck, and we'll show you how to do that really fast. We're gonna go ahead and pick one of these. Background blur, Alt plus B. Obviously, you would to do this on your StreamDeck, you would go ahead and go down to System, and we're gonna go to Hotkey, drag it over, OBSBOT Tail Air, or whatever you want to name it. Background blur, Alt B, and then that's what you would do, and you would click it on your StreamDeck and it would take away the blur. Okay, so one last thing, NDI mode. I had to go in and activate this through a key. Once you activate it, you will see that the NDI mode right here is available. We're gonna go ahead and turn it on. It's gonna give you a tip, warning, whatever you wanna call it. After enabling NDI, UVC, HDMI, and RTSP will not be available. Okay, I'm fine with that. It says NDI is now on. So let's go ahead and check and see if it is on. OBS, we'll open it up. We're gonna delete all of these really quick. We're gonna go ahead and add a source. NDI plugin, NDI source name. This is through a plugin, an NDI plugin for OBS. We're gonna click OK. NDI plugin source prop source name, right? This is where your source is coming from. If your source is on your network and it's sending a feed, it should come up right here. Obviously, as you see, it did. Tail Air. Click OK. And voila. Yet again, just works. No wires, no mess, no hassle. Beautiful color on the thing, as you can see. I do want to say that, you know, for the camera, it does a lot, so it's a little bit of a pricier camera. It does retail for $499. So, that being said, we went through NDI, the gestures, connection, all of the settings that are in there in the app, both on phone and on PC. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. Ask questions. I'll do what I do on all of my videos. I will try to answer as many questions as I possibly can for you. If there's something I missed or something you want to see extra on this, again, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification button. If you like the video and you want to see more like this, just tech reviews, whatever. I've got more coming. So that being said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.